Hi, welcome to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, I just wanted to welcome everybody and thank everybody for your continued support with our channel. And if this is your first time watching, I'm Glow, and I'm just a down-home cook. And today I'm going to make something very special. A friend of mine who I actually work with asked if I ever make blonde brownies, and yes, I do. They're actually one of my favorites. But with that being said, he asked if I ever did it with brown butter. And oh yeah, brown butter actually really ups the game. Not for just for brownies, but actually many baked goods, including cookies. It just adds a nice nutty flavor to it. So I wanted to share this today, but also at the same time, I'm going to show you something new that I have been doing. It was a gift for me for Christmas. And it's definitely been a learning curve, but it's been a wonderful learning curve. And I just kind of want to share this with you. I'm just going to briefly go over it today, but as we continue with this channel, I will be sharing more about this with you. So I'm going to first of all go over the ingredients for these brown buttered blondies, and then we'll start putting them together. I'm doubling this recipe for a couple of reasons. These are so good. I want them for us and also my family and the people I work with.
Friends at work.
So I am doing up 2 batches today. So for a normal batch, you would use a half a cup of butter. But since I'm doubling it, I have 2 sticks of butter, so it's a total of 1 cup. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my burner on. You're supposed to brown your butter at anywhere from like in between medium and medium high. I'm going to turn mine down just a little because my burners tend to cook, higher than normal. So we're going to go ahead and let this start. Now, when you're browning butter, you do not want to walk away from your kitchen because this can definitely get away from you. You want to pick a pan that's going to hold this butter because it's going to foam up. It's going to boil and it's going to foam up. And you really have to watch it or it'll burn, but it will turn into the most delicious, nutty butter. And the purpose behind this is you want to actually boil out the water out of the butter. So it's true butter at the end. So you can see how that's already starting to melt there.
There it goes.
Yep. So now our other ingredients are, normally I would put 1.5 cups of brown sugar in here, but I'm doubling this. So there are 3 cups of brown sugar, and make sure you always pack your brown sugar when you're measuring. And there's 4 eggs. Normally it would be 2, and I'll put the recipe for just 1 down in this segment. There's 4 teaspoons of real vanilla here. It'd be normally 2. There's 4 teaspoons of baking powder here and 1 teaspoon of salt. And again, it would be half of that if you were just doing a normal recipe.
A regular batch.
Now I have 3.5 cups of fresh milled flour. And I'm going to tell you something, you guys. Years ago, a friend of mine used to do her milling for her flour. And her baked goods were always just right up there. I mean, they were superb. They were the best I had ever had. And so when we moved from Colorado to here, I just never really looked into getting a grain mill. But something told me I needed to do that. So we ended up Richard actually got me this for Christmas. And it's been the best gift.
After a lot of research.
Yeah, we did a lot of research. And there's a couple of different kinds of mills out there. Some are very expensive, some aren't so expensive. But we'll talk about that later. But when you are going to grind your grains, this is what you're grinding actually. This is soft winter wheat, which is actually what white lily flour is, if you know what white lily flour is. Not every area can you buy that, but that's what this is. So if you wanted to get 1 3/4 cups, I'm just going to stir this.
I hear the butter going.
of of your flour, the amount of grain you would use would be about 1 1/8 cups. And you just have to kind of play with that. So anyway, that's just what that's all about. This is what my grain mill looks like on the inside. So what I do is I turn it on and I pour the grains in here and I connect my canister to it with like that.
That tube.
So it's all self-contained, so you don't get that flour going everywhere. But anyway, that's just a little bit about what that's all about. So now you can see how this is really starting to bubble up.
That's a bubbler.
Mm-hmm. And this is where you really got to start watching it. And can you see how it's starting to foam a little bit also on the sides?
Yes.
So I'm going to let this continue here. We'll be coming back so you can see what it looks like. But see how it's starting to pop up here? This is where you don't want to walk away from it.
Nope.
So I'm going to let this continue and we'll be back as it's reducing more. And then we're going to go on to the next step.
Sounds good, Miss Glow. See you later.
Well, I wanted to show you what this butter is looking like in this pot. You can see how the solids are starting to come out of it, and it's starting to turn like a golden color right now. It's definitely got a ways to go. But I already turned my burner down to like just below medium because, like I said before, my burners cook hot. But you definitely don't want to walk away from this. This technique is definitely one that you want to watch and babysit. I also wanted to share, I always keep my baking soda close by just in case. This will definitely put a fire out very quickly. And I just keep mine in a little canning jar. But I just thought I'd share that too. Anytime I'm cooking with butter or grease or something, I have that close by. But anyway, we're going to continue to let this cook, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like right now. And as we were talking just now, you can see how it's already starting to turn more of a golden color. So it probably has about another 5 minutes to go.
We'll be back.
Now it's only been another minute, and look at this, you guys. See how it starts to foam? And now it's really starting to turn nice and nutty. You can smell it.
Oh yeah, it smells
and
good.
It's got a little ways to go still, but this is what really ups a recipe. It just adds so much flavor to it. And I still have my burner on just below medium. But I wanted to show that to you, and we'll be back in just a little bit, and then we're going to go on to the next step. But look at that. See how that's starting to turn brown?
Yep, up right in the middle there.
Yep. So we'll be back.
All right, let me go here. Here we go.
Okay, so I wanted to show you this brown butter, and it smells so good. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Looks good, Miss Glow.
Yeah, and you can see the brown bits. If I move that back, let's see.
Don't move it too fast.
Can you see the sediment down in there? Maybe even go
yeah.
like that. See?
Yeah.
If you let that go much longer, it would burn. And you don't want that. But those are your friend. This is going to make this so good. So that's why you remove it from the heat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm taking this brown sugar, which is 3 cups, and I'm going to put it right in here. And look how soft this brown sugar is.
Pretty soft.
Yeah, how I keep mine stored is I put a couple of marshmallows in my container that I keep my brown sugar in, and it keeps it real nice like that. Now what I'm going to do...
Or you can use bread too.
Yeah. So I'm going to pour this beautiful brown butter right over this. Look at that.
Delicious.
Yep. So I'm going to be back. I'm going to see that I'm including all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be back, and we're going to go on to the next step.
Sounds good.
Okay, so now the butter has cooled off enough that I'm going to beat this. Now, before I get started on this recipe I need to share with you guys came from a YouTube channel. and it's called Grains in Small Places, and it's by Kara. I'm not sure what her last name is, and her and her family, they travel around the country in an RV. That's how they live. And she has some wonderful recipes on her channel, and I've learned a lot about milling grains and how to cook with them and bake with them. So I just wanted to share her channel, and I'm going to put a link in the bottom of this for you guys, so maybe you would like to go over and just take a look at what she does. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and whip this up.
Whip it good.
The goal here is to just make this kind of lighter and fluffier. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to be adding those 4 eggs and then the 4 teaspoons of vanilla. And then after that, we're going to incorporate the flour mixture. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll be back, and we'll see what this looks like.
Sounds good.
Well, I wanted to share this with you guys. See how nice and light that got? And I've only been doing this about a minute and a half. The main thing is you want to make sure your butter's cool enough to put your eggs in, because you don't want those eggs to cook and look like scrambled eggs.
Unless you haven't had breakfast yet.
So I'm going to go ahead and just slowly add these. And the 4 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm just going to scrape this brown sugar and butter off the sides and get that incorporated in there. I wish you guys were here, because this just smells so good.
Sure does.
There, I think that's enough. Now I'm going to go ahead and incorporate some of this flour mixture in here. And I went ahead and stirred in the baking powder and the salt into it. I'm sure you could use all-purpose flour in this recipe. I have a recipe for these brownies that I've used over the years. And I thought when I saw Kara's recipe, I needed to do this, because she's used the fresh mill flour and she did such a great presentation of this that I just decided to do it. Whoop. You can see how it's getting thick from that flour.
Yep.
So I'll be back, and then we're going to go on to the next step of putting them in the oven. Well, look at this batter, you guys. It's like brownie batter, except no chocolate. Now, you can add nuts to this. You could add butterscotch chips to this. You could add chocolate chips to this. I mean, just think about what you guys like and what you think you might like to add to this. Personally, I like it just like this. But I'm dividing this out between the two. Now you could use this double recipe in a 9x13 pan. They would be thicker brownies, you know, as far as the height. And that would be good. These are going to be thinner. Or you could just use, you know, the single recipe, and you could put it in an 8x8 pan. Now, the 9x13 pan is going to take anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes to cook at 350 degrees. Now, the glass pan, I will turn my temperature down probably about 15 degrees because glass, you know, cooks a little quicker. So
Gets hotter.
Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'm going to put them in the oven, and then I'll see you back in 25 to 35 minutes.
Okay.
Hi, well, I just took these out of the oven, and look at these, you guys. Now, I want you to see the difference in these two. I have the aluminum pan, and I have the glass pan. I put the same amount in each one of them, and you can see the difference in the way they baked. I had this at 350 degrees, and this was in the oven for about 30 minutes. This was in the oven for 25 minutes, but I had reduced the temperature by 15 degrees. And so I see how the glass one turned out so much nicer, I think,
Rose better.
than the aluminum one.
Yeah.
For myself personally, I have found through the years that I prefer to bake in a glass dish. And this is just one good reason. It's proof is in the pudding when you look at this. I'm sure they're both delicious, but there's definitely a difference in the way they baked. So now we got to let these cool entirely. But man, I wish you guys were here. This house smells so good right now.
It does.
It really does. So I will see you back probably 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'll try it. But I must say, they're even better the second day. So we'll be back. Well, you guys, here are the brown butter blonde brownies, and they are delicious. They are super rich, but they are so good. And if you want your brownies to come out thicker, by all means, you could have put that whole recipe I did in a 9x13 pan, and they would be thicker. But they are very rich. David, I want to thank you for asking me about this recipe and if I ever made them. They are just so good. And again, thank you, and I'll be bringing you some tomorrow. And also, Kara, I want to thank you for sharing this recipe on your channel. You have an awesome channel, and I've learned so much from you. And again, it's grains in small places. So we will put a link for that at the bottom of our video. Now I'm going to sample this. It smells so good. That brown butter and that fresh grains that I ground for this are just really up the recipe. They are so nice and chewy. They are just delicious. Very, very good. You can make this with all-purpose flour as well. This recipe is very versatile, but the key is the brown butter. It is so good. And our little Lucy down here, she would love a piece as well as Richard. So,
oh yeah, we had two of them.
They are delicious. So anyway, I want to thank you for your time today, and I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. And I hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.